Just a second. One more. Okay. Yeah, 11. So this is actually something fundamental, meaning that you kind of have to understand in some context how to do this and understand what works with you. If you're going to be doing anything magical or the occult or metaphysical, you have to be able to understand what makes you feel like something can work with you and connect with you perfectly fine, and to discover what's like not feeling it. Because there's an infinite amount of things that you can correspond with using your witchy woozy woo practice. Literally from stones, like little Alfredo there, to botanicals. This is an essential oil of fennel, to even incense, but technically this is a diffusing. Other plants, even divine beings, spirits, entities, whatever kind of tarot and oracle divination practices you jive with, what planetary energies you jive with. I mean, I can go on for like 3,000 years saying everything, but still. There's usually the simple way, but it takes a long time to actually discover it. Or there's the more complex way, which takes a long time to figure out exactly what to really go towards. But you have to know how astrology works for that one. The, the most simple way is to essentially, like, say, for an example, you want to see how you feel towards licorice root. Licorice root is a plant, it's an herb. It's actually really a root used in magical workings. In order for you to actually see how this thing's going to work and how you feel with it, you actually got to interact with it. You got to put your hands on it. You got to engage with it. You have to like pretty much sense like what you're feeling with this. Because right now I'm starting to get thoughts of like maybe we should just do it my way. It's easy. No, no, no. Let's just do it my way. It's easier. Trust me. I also get a little bit of sense of like what's her name from The Devil Wears Prada. The the part that Meryl Streep played. Yeah, this is giving me a kind of her vibe, but a little bit nicer just all. Are you done? Because I have work to do, dear. Good? Okay, out. Kind of an intimidation that knows like don't mess with her. And not only by just holding it, actually if it's edible and if it won't, make you sick and if it's not toxic, do your research for that. See how it feels. That's a word. See how it tastes. And usually licorice root is actually used, so if you're going in a position where you kind of need to appear more intimidating, just have a little piece in your mouth and just start chewing it. For some reason, it's believed that chewing on licorice root makes people be a little bit more compliant with your requests. But even then, another thing you can also do to engage with it, get something, put it to your ear, and kind of see how, what sound does it make? Is it kind of like a sharp ding noise? Is it firm? Is it kind of soft? Like if it fluffs, like if you hit a flower, does it fluff? All those things matter when you're really trying to connect with something. And I mean, if it has a scent, which this doesn't. I mean, it does have a woodsy knife. It kind of smells like if you're in a forest and all of a sudden you just rest your back on a tree and all of a sudden now the tree is holding on to you. Like, you're not going anywhere. So it can have that, at least for me, it has that intimidating, you're going to do what I tell you to, and you're restricted, you have no choice. And that's actually not really associated by like restricting something, but that's a potential thing you can do with it. Because everybody is going to be reacting to certain verbs, correspondences differently. Like here is another example. Me personally, I'll give an example of what I, I drive with pretty well, and something I'm kind of like, not really feeling it, kind of like indifferent about it. Let me see, excuse me. Probably my best example. There's one there, and I'm going to grab Alfredo. So something that kind of makes me feel, not really feeling it. Citrine, and this is legit citrine. It's not like the citrine, I mean the amethyst that's cooked, ametrine. Legit citrine. See how like legit, this is so bad, but gonna have to go with it. See how legit piss gold color that is? So vulgar. Still, that is pure citrine. To me, it's like way too, kind of like way too bang, like way too flamboyant, coming from me of all the things, but still. To me, citrine, not really feeling it, but that's really just me. Some people would see citrine and be like, I jive with it well. Then there's something I jive with a bit too much. Kunzite. Literally, I could hold on to a little Alfredo. That's what I named my kunzite, deal with it. And I could just hold it like indefinitely and completely forget, oh, I'm holding on to, oh, Alfredo, I forgot you were there. I'm just so comfortable and at peace. That kunzite jives with me very well. Citrine, not so much. But in order for me to know what drives me and what doesn't, I actually have to put the thing and hold on to it and actually feel how it affects me. Hematite? Well, I kind of can't think. I kind of feel like I'm being spiked down to back to the ground. But then again, that's what really hematite's meant to do. It's meant to grab you and slam you back to reality. But again, everybody is going to be responding differently. Even same thing if you're wearing like jewelry and stuff like that. But anyway, but let's say if you want to actually connect to a plant that you only have an essential oil with. Obviously, some of these you cannot put in your mouth. Let's be realistic here. But there are some that you can just simply smell. And if you're really good at pretty much describing imagery and connecting to the plants already, which I already am, you can actually kind of get a general idea of how that is going to best work with your magical woozy wooing or whatever you deem fit. So I'm going to start with probably one scent that I could be I'm a little indifferent about. And then, here we go. Kind of just popped in front of my face and like, it's scooch. So I guess I'll do the same thing again. So, oh, I have a better one. So one scent that I'm a little bit kind of like, whatever, not really fond of it, is actually peppermint. Because for me, peppermint, think of it this way. Peppermint is like the plant, it's like a plant that kind of slaps you so hard it stuns you. And you were doing something stupid, and peppermint comes in and stuns you and makes you wait a minute. It's like a slap stun, and I just messed up my hair. But that's how, to me, peppermint works. It's a stun. It's a, whoa, wait a minute, what just happened? It's kind of like a brain reset. Not really my kind of a thing. But now if we say we scooch over to Blue Lotus, literally I can have this up my nose and not even care. I jive perfectly with this one. A bit too good. Or even heck, one that's either a hit or a miss. Geranium. Some people love it, some people despise it. Me, just like black licorice. Another one I can show my nose. But having that connection, like say here, for geranium. Think of geranium as like the having that best friend that really cares about you and tells you, dump him. He's not good for you. Drop him. That's geranium. Is a true friend who tells you exactly how it is, even if you're, being stupid, because they do care. That's geranium. Tells you exactly how it is. Even if it makes you go, it hurt my feelings. Well, I'm being honest with you. Another one's yangwang. Another one. Think of yangwang, and I'm just doing like some examples. Think of yangwang as like being in high school again, if you've graduated, or if you haven't graduated. Well, think of it like if you're in your senior year, and essentially the most popular girl in school that everybody loves and every guy wants to be with, even some lesbians want to be with, and she's so friendly, upbeat, happy, and just gets along with everybody. And she becomes the prom queen, and everybody loves Yangling. She's very uplifting, very playful, friendly, and just is never negative. But she can be a bit flirty. That's Yangling. Literally a woozy wooer, for lack of better, for lack of trying to keep this a little bit cleanish. Oregano. I call oregano. Literally the plant that is anti BS. Oh, mm. Oh, careful. Just be careful. Because if it's real blue lotus, if you're getting, are you getting it in an oil or actually as like in tea? Because if you actually consume blue lotus, it kind of mimics a controversial plant that's well known. I can't say because like, oh, perfect. And also, if it comes in an absolute, that's how it's supposed to be because it's similar to like jasmine in the way it gets processed. Because the flowers are so delicate that you have to make it an absolute. Trust me. Just put it right under your nose and just trust me, you'll be going, no negative, no, 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 no. It's just gonna come right off. Mm-hmm. But oregano, literally the anti-BS plant of everything. Literally, it's anti everything, and it also opens the throat, and it also pretty much blows open the heart, and then it like pushes everything upward. Because like the blue lotus going from the bottom, it goes through all the muck and anything negative trying to hold it down. It just nope, mm-mm, nope. I'm gonna grow. Get this off me. Nope. no negativity is gonna come with me. That's that's Blue Lotus in a nutshell. And the dew that comes off of Blue Lotus, supposedly that's supposed to be like the one dewdrop. That's supposed to be like what's supposed to bestow immortality. At least how it's said. But oregano, literally, if you need something to be like exercised or like literally banished forcefully and harshly, oregano. It's so anti-BS and it's so potent that oregano can possibly scare the living heck out of anything. I like to think of oregano as like a crabby old man that pretty much whenever he has company, he tells them exactly how he behave at the house. They have to take off their shoes and socks and they need to have clean feet before they step in the house. If they go and use the bathroom, they have to clean the whole bathroom with bleach. And as soon as they leave, they have to double check and make sure the house looks exactly as it was before they stepped in it. And he's a clean freak. If there's any BS, he throws it all out the window. And that's oregano in a nutshell. So anti everything, anti BS, anti negativity, anti anything that is not good, anything that doesn't need to be there. That is oregano in a nutshell. You really just gotta let your intuition and imagination go. Here's one that's probably gonna be something new: Siberian fir. You know, like a Siberian tiger. So, Siberian fir is usually the one that's the original Christmas tree, but the scent, Saturnian, the first thing that popped in my head, because these things grow in really cold climates. It's a tree, it's a fir, so it's an elder. Because since it has to thrive in the area where it snows a lot and it's really ice cold, that kind of gives a sense of devotion, commitment, and being able to withstand harsh conditions. So pretty much endurance, strict, focused, enforcing boundary, restriction, but dedicated to being on point all the time, but also protective. Think of Siberian fir as kind of like the elder of an American native tribe that is strict, and no matter what he sets out to do, he does it, even if it's completely like there's no hope for it. It doesn't matter. He just keeps going. Even if the whole tribe saying, "You're gonna die." Screw you, people. I'm gonna keep going. Yeah, that's how determined Siberian fir is. Two more, and then I'm actually gonna give a kind of show an example of like at least what I like to do when I'm trying to like combine correspondences together and actually smack them into one and then use it in the short little working thing. But still, this one, juniper berry. I love juniper berry. So what if I put it up my nose? So what? You're just mad because you don't have juniper berry in your hands. I'd be mad too. Stop looking at me like that. Quit it. Stop. Juniper berry. I like to think of juniper berry as a little tiny, feisty, pushy little battering ram. If there's something blocking you, or if there's something not allowing you to reach into your darker parts of yourself, or if there's just something in your way that has been just being a nuisance, juniper berry. Because this little tiny terror will just go like this: obstacle, knock it down. And not really give no hex, forcing something and pushing something a bit overkill out of the way. Because it is related to Scorpio, and technically it's originally owned by Mars, but also Pluto, K2, the south node of the moon, but also Lilith. Juniper berry is also known to, give the motivator to catch my drift to the nasty parts. But last and definitely not least, it's actually my own little mixture. Now, this thing is an example of combining many correspondences into one. So, this little thing, I have the following, and they all jive with each other. Number one, the little black reddish piece that's in there, that's garnet. There's a there's a small shard of clear quartz, and the rest is kunzite. Now, for oil wise, we have rose, neroli, jasmine, blue lotus, violet, magnolia, ylang-ylang, pink pepper, juniper berry, clary sage, geranium. There's one more that I know I didn't mention that is just looking at me, laughing at me right now. What is the name of that plant? It's making funny. Lavender. That's the other one. So all those oils are smashed into this little vial, and you're probably thinking, wow, isn't that like almost nearly all the flower oils into one? Mm-hmm. But because of the kunzite, the garnet, and clear quartz in there, primarily it's the garnet and the clear quartz, but the kunzite's there to also, to best say it, crystals and gemstones. If something is known to, like how rose quartz is actually used to support, literally rose quartz is the, I'm gonna just call it for what it is. Thanks, Adam. Not like making Adam, but a friend of mine who I got like nearly all my crystals from, Adam Barrett, as he says it. Oh, it's like the Kim Kardashian of all the stones. Everybody knows rose quartz. Basic, but still. Rose quartz. With quartz, you can use this for anything love related, but not for the same thing. If rose quartz actually makes self love happen and pretty much give yourself the care, rose quartz can also cause addiction, being completely obsessed. Like, I must have that rose quartz. Give it to me. That kind of it. And I mean, heck, even the same thing can go with here. Even the same thing with like little Reginald right here. Kunzite. Kunzite's used to have the highest form of love, which is devotion, spiritual commitment, and having that really lifelong connection. You can see where I'm going with this. You can also make kunzite become a lifelong obsession and something that somebody cannot live without. Highest form of love is devotion, commitment, unconditionally. Now, when you flip it, you now have obsession to the point where it's like nicotine, but intense. It's that strong of addiction, and you can't get rid of it. That's how potent these stones can be. So you got to be careful with them. Just because it can do something good, it can also do the reverse, because um that's the occurring theme that one specific stone has. Just because it's nice, because everybody talks about the nice way about a stone. If you actually are able to rethink and outside the box and take that and actually think, if it can cause healing of that, it can also cause harm of that. It just depends on how you go with it. And yes, I was actually, in a way, also referencing, where did it go? I was actually referring to and referencing, I will find it. I will find it. There it is. And yes, I was referring to Kindra's book for that. And I actually read an excerpt from the page that just says that all stones can be used both to heal and harm. If so desired, just as whichever stones are used to heal can be flipped for the right intention to cause painful results. It's all how you program it and how you direct it. This is actually probably my number one recommendation if you're wanting to actually use crystals and gemstones in a way that's outside the box and not just like, oh, supportive means. Well, say if you want to actually, like, here's a good example, kind of make a wolf, I mean, I call it a wolf in sheep's clothing. Like if you want to actually give like like a, like a hidden gem, a- like a hidden covered Trojan horse curse or like hex, you can actually take a smoky quartz in the hand you write with. Just hold it in there, pretty much carefully, not really squeeze so hard that you break it, but enough that way you can actually push into the stone every negative thing you possibly have. Just, just push it in there as hard as you can. Within reason, don't break the stone because that's rude. And just hold it all in there until you feel much better. Take the little thing and find a twat head that you think needs a good hit upside the head, and just say, I want to give you this as like a sign of truce, and let bygones be bygones. And just plop it in their hand. The minute it makes contact, they get the best way I like to call it is that they just got infected with all of that negativity because it comes into contact with them. And the stone is programmed with all your negative and everything that you don't want. Uh-oh, now they're getting hit with it all. Just an idea. Don't limit yourself because has everything has the supportive and then the also destructive side of it. There is really technically no good, evil, yin yang. It is what it is. Anyway, so I think I've jibber jabbered enough about all that. So now I'm going to kind of show how I pretty much mix together correspondences and to kind of use something for a magical reason. So I'm going to get all my pigeons lined up. Don't mind me. And while I'm doing this, it'll be open floor for any occult questions or what have you. As long as it's practical and realistic and not like, so are you single? None of that. Mm-mm. Because if you try saying that to me, it's not going to work as planned. Just to say that. And I'll try my best to explain each thing as I'm, making use of it. Because one of the big things that a lot of people do, and I see it way too much, and the people that have actually practiced this longer than I have even seen it and noticed it too, is that a lot of people think that, if you put hanky, panky, and spanky together to get wanky, it just happens that way. Like if you put this plant, put this one, and then this one with this one and this one, that's how it works. No, 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 no. You actually have to do your research and figure out what jives, but also understand what works with you and what doesn't. It's not just simply throwing everything together and then again, cook in a microwave, as Nico from Scarlet Moon says it, and that's where I got that from. It's true. People can't just slap things together and be like, okay, I did it. No, you have to know what you're putting together, why you're putting it together, and your reasoning behind it. That's how you really get things as they're supposed to be. But anyway, so anyway, so without further ado, the intention that I'm having for this example, I want to make just a simple little candle to be burned that involves intimidation, um, domination, and kind of getting deserved respect, and also making someone to be a little bit more a little bit more nice and compliant. So I already have the herbal mixture in this thing, so I don't need to worry about that. But regarding like the essential oils and magical oils, such as there's the magical, and then the essential oils are obviously in front of me. This is not going to go on it, and I'll essentially pretty much show the grid because yeah, everything is over to my right. I'll show you how that's set up. So I'm just going to get myself in state. Just I do this like every single time. So if you're looking at me like that's like the 50th time you put that on your face, kid. Hey now, I'm worried and I care about my face, okay? I mean, would you expect me to, be able to keep this definitely not teenage appearance for so long? Literally, I look the same as I did back in hold on, pretty much back in 2009 to now. Mm-hmm. I'm not new here. I know what I'm doing. So, because since this thing's also dead, I have a diffuser apparatus just to help me get into state. And if you're wondering, well, what's in there? Fennel, clary sage, jasmine, clove to help focus, rosemary, a weeny little bit of geranium, and good old little, I call it VV vetiver. Okay, so, and this is the thing I'm actually gonna, stick it in when it's done. So bad. Anyway, first, well, that doesn't sound weird. First blood, no. First and foremost, I need to figure out, okay, what am I gonna use to actually, regarding the candle color or the whatnot, what color am I somebody's eye or like makes them pay attention? Because when usually you see gold, you're kind of like, ooh, pretty, pretty shiny. Oh, he's bad. I better listen. Otherwise, I'm going to get hit upside the head with a blunt object. That's why I'm using black with gold glitty on it. Glitty. So, the most easiest way to go about it to keep it simple, and that's how I like to keep things simple, so less of a headache. If you're going to be using oils, including essential and magical, little containers like that, just do this. Keep it simple. Literally. Let it sit there. Open up the next one. Take it. Flip it like that. And then drop it in the opposing way. Let it just sit there and float for a little bit. Move it. Bring it upward. If you're wondering what oils I'm using, bend over, since the target I'm, having, get hit upside the head and be like, listen, kid, man dominator. And this one is my Woozy Woo mix. And if you can use more than one intention oil as long as they jive with one another. So it usually depending on what order you put them in, because with this one I put bend over first, then man dominator, and now I'm putting in Woozy Woo. So since Woozy Woo is the first layer on it, pretty much going backwards, it's going to Woozy Woo and pull and pretty much get coming towards. Then it's going to turn to man dominator. Then it's going to be bend over. That's really how it's going to play out because it's going to be going layer by layer. And since this is 3, I just put it in upside down for the last one. Plop it there, literally face first, under the little plate thing. Just, grease it, grease my palms. But anyway, so now, the oils I'm going to use with it are like specifically essential. But again, please be careful what you're putting on your skin. Like for example, thyme is one you got to be careful with. Another one is oregano. It can make your skin be like, oh, that's hot, get it off. Cassia is another one, I believe, and so cinnamon bark. Those oils will get feisty with your skin. Like, oh, no. Best of it, $2. So, number one, first one. I'm going to try and pronounce it. Arborvitae, which is a Canadian tree that's part of the cedarwood family. Arborvitae is a fiery, feisty cedarwood tree. It's so feisty and hot that insects won't even stick to it because it's too much. Mm. Literally, that's kind of, I'm putting it on there for a way. It's kind of just like okay, okay, having that bit of a fiery wisdom because a cedarwood tree is pretty. Hey, Kayla, a cedarwood tree, just like with any other tree oil, it's been a while for a long time, so it's not new here. So arborvitae is feisty. It's a feisty old man. It's not afraid to, put up his dukes. Patchouli leaf. Now, patchouli can be used for money reasons. It can also be a substitute for graveyard dirt of any kind, and that's the kind of substitute I use a lot if I ever need to have anything while I'm dead, because I'm not going to the cemetery and take dirt and have to do what I'm forced to do every time when I want to go to the cemetery, which is ask hell every single time. But patchouli also has the aspect of keeping things being best said spiked on earth, like stuck. Also, patchouli can be an aphrodisiac in a way that's kind of like all the way, get over here, I'm going to stick you that way, or nope, get away from me. Nope, mm-mm, nope, nope, mm-mm, I'm not going to catch that one. Nope, don't want you sausage link kid. Nope, nope, mm-mm, nope, that's not good enough, honey. No, not, nope. All the way in or all the way no. That's really patchouli if you're using it for that aspect. And then another one that's kind of similar, but it's not entirely. I like to call it Vivi or vetiver. Vetiver is like if you take patchouli and you mix it with juniper berry. The juniper berry aspect that it has the roots that go really deep into the ground, so that piercing effect on it, but also the kind of the nasty, that kind of energy with it too from patchouli. It's also a calming relaxant. It's also a funny, funny enough, a lot of people don't know this. It's actually a very friendly gay male attraction herb. Mm-hmm. Good old BV. And yes, that is a Final Fantasy reference. It's not copyrighted, okay? Deal with it. Last but not least, the juniper berry. Like I said earlier, juniper berry is like this. A tiny little, a tiny terror that is not afraid to be a little battering ram and go head first into whatever's blocking the way to demonstrate. Think of juniper berry kind of like this, like going through a wall and knocking it down, like overkilling like a battering ram, going right through it and being all like, "Yeah, should have moved." So juniper berry with vetiver together, that's like really pushing any kind of resistance or blockage or anything that's being like, nope, you can't get through. Well, we got vetiver to do piercing, I got juniper berry to do piercing. Like, I. And now, another way that I like to pretty much add herbs to it, have an herbal mixture in there, and after it's grounded up and all that, especially if the candle's like that big, seal it. And just like how many moons ago, like when Burger King had them shake 'em up fries, yeah, have some nostalgia. Get some nostalgia going and experience them shake 'em up fries like thousands of years ago. Yeah, back in my day, they had that cheesy shake 'em up fries. Come on, Burger King, can we have those back, please? But that's none of my business. What do I know? I'm not an advertiser. I know nothing. I don't know anything about marketing. But what do I know? So now, and also in this mixture, just for clarity reasons, there's calamus root, licorice root. Funny enough, tobacco, because tobacco is actually, believe it or not, it's actually used to actually amplify workings that involve any kind of push. And yeah, it's also pretty much used to make peace in a way. So there's a lot of chill you're gonna do what needs to be done. And that's how it's gonna be. Keep it peaceful. Just do it in this mixture. And all the oils on top of it too. So yeah, this little thing is all ready to be flung into what it's supposed to be doing. So now, the obnoxious part. hmm But to make it easier on myself, I'm gonna do this. Get it out of the bag first before melting it because nothing is gonna be more embarrassing than me getting frustrated in front of a live studio audience. But as you can see, ignored the gold. I don't think you can see it. But yeah, there is traces of the herb on top, on that little thing. So now the fun part, get it to, stick and stay upward. So over, but who cares? We're all ladies here, kind of. So, and before somebody says, you're using a torch, you should use matches. How am I going to melt that with a match? Like this? No, I'm going to get waxy. Got to use stuff that is, realistic and actually makes sense, is practical. Literally. I would be surprised if someone said, you shouldn't be using a torch because has like carbon monoxide in it, has unnatural gas in it. Don't be hating that I have a flamer and you don't. Anyway, so now that it's kind of fluidy and able to get a hold of it, just gotta really push it in there. Yeah, and double check just to double make sure. So now you just push it on there like that. Now you just blow it so that way it hardens. Yeah, you blow it and just let it See? Do magic, they said. It would be fun, they said, but most of the time is keep making sure your candle just, stays standing. So, and yes, it's not perfectly straight. Oh, well, that's not perfect. You can lick me. How about that instead? But still, this thing is in there. It's not going anywhere. So now I'm gonna make the grid thing to help support this real quick, and I'll show you once it's finished. So enjoy the Jeopardy music for like 2 shakes. Just kidding. If I did that, I'd be like, "That's copyright. Take down the video. Otherwise, Alex Trebek's children's gonna get every revenue penny from this video." You can lick me, YouTube. He might. No. But anyway, as I said earlier, it is open floor, just to remind you. So if there's any witchy, woozy, woo, magical question you got, throw it at me, but just don't hit me in the face. That's supposed to be the moneymaker, as I'm told. But whatever. Mm. One, that one, definitely that one. Maybe, yeah, that one. Oh, actually, here's the better idea. Much better idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. And to kind of keep things a little bit simple, I'm gonna just keep it easy. And so that way you know what I'm going to be using. I'm only going to be using really clear quartz to pretty much use as the stone focus. Yes, because in a way, the way that this is, it's kind of like the same concept as like a honey jar in a way, but because since it's a skull, this is actually going into somebody's head as the candle wax melts. It melts and it goes down right through their head, into their thoughts, and into, yeah, again, into the head. So that way the intention goes, I think I need to listen to this person more, and I think I need to not be an idiot. Oh, they're looking at me and they're giving me a look of like, I did something stupid. I'm sorry. Don't get mad. Don't worry, I'll do what you tell me to. I'll be nice. This is the idea. So, in actuality, I'm just going to do it this way. Scooch. I take that back. I'm going to be using 2 stones. That smoky quartz with a different intention with it, and then blue sapphire. And then the rest clear quartz. As for the blue sapphire, well, the best way to actually tell this thing what to do is to actually just do Saturn's Murdra and hold it into the dominant hand and have the intention just go into the stone like so. Now that this the blue sapphire knows what it needs to do, it's gonna do it. And as you know how Shunny is, angry, well, not really angry. He's just an annoyed, agitated old geezer that is anti-stupid. This one, since it's a quartz, it's an amplifier, but in this case, we're kind of, I'm going to make it be somewhat best said like a black hole, and it's amplified. Like it's, I don't even know if I say that I might get like, it's copyrighted, like how Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, come here, or something like that. But his regular, well-known thing he says when he harpoons someone in the neck and pulls them. So now these two are ready to go. As for these little things, doing each individual stone is impractical, so I'm going to do it this way instead. I'm going to take those 3 intention oils, just like this, right on the palm. And yes, you know you did it right when you hear the noise. Again, literally. It's like, how can you mess that up? I mean, you'd be surprised nowadays with people. Here, your palms greased, simply. Because with clear quartz, when in doubt, if it doesn't know what to do, it just by default amplifies everything. I don't know what to do, so I'm going to amplify everything. That's just how clear quartz works. So now these little guys are ready, so now I'm going to play Tetris right quick. And funny enough, it's actually very simple. Nothing too fancy, nothing too woozy wooey. Measure, and I'm going to plop this little thing, this little guy in the back right there, and also, well, yeah, I have selenite in the back supporting it. Gonna get this scoot sheet over there. Have a monster swig. Oh, now that just sounded nasty. Like you haven't heard worse. So, for a quick looky look, I present to you this hot mess. So, see, nothing too fancy, nice and simple. Nothing too cray-cray, at least not yet. Just see how it's perfectly simple. You have a shungite in the front of it all. Pretty much that's there to filter any BS that does not need to be coming anywhere near it. And it pretty much is, again, just like how I said it is like of all the crystals and stones, essentially it's best said it's like the bottom feeder of the stones, as if it's like a bottom feeder of a fish tank. It feeds on the BS and it transmutes it. Then we have clear quartz again going all around, like, that obnoxious thing that SpongeBob says. Bringing it around. Stop it. Yeah, the smoke had the shadow quartz right there. You have clear quartz going around. And then you have, this is going to be a little bit odd, blue sapphire. And then that one's the Marian seed crystal. Then there's the little apophyllite that is like sassy anti-BS stone right there. Then selenite tower in the back. And this is all being overseen by our lovely lady. Yeah, I know orientation's a lot, like mine. Deal with it. So really, that little thing is ready to get set off. And don't mind the, random camel with king pineapple to the left. Oh, I'm starting to hear it now. Oh, I'm hearing the conga line again. Oh, boy. Anyway, that's really just how simplistic. It's getting louder and louder. But anyway, really that's how I like to pretty much merge corresponding things together and trying to keep it as simple as possible. But when in doubt, easy milkshake almost made me land on my face. When you're in tuned, you can't help but just be like, that thing's getting louder that I thought I heard. And it's getting louder and louder, and oi, oi. Open the third eye, they said. It'll be fun, they said. But they didn't mention the part with like, oh yeah, by the way, once you open it, hope you can't close it. Toodles, have fun. Anyway, that little thing's ready to go. Oh boy, here comes the first one. Okay. Yeah, I know. I know he's coming. No, I'm not gonna get up and be a part of that. Telling again. I have nothing to say. But anyway, I get my crystals primarily from my friend Adam Bartlett. You can look him up on YouTube, and he has, I don't even know how many videos about essential oil mixes and how they are used and what they represent and how to actually use them in your physical health, mental health, emotional health, and spiritual health. He also gives correspondences with it. Same thing with the stones and crystals, and also with animals too. And also, he was the one that actually got me primarily almost all the oils I got, especially the Blue Lotus one, like that little gem, literally. But essentially, that's where he was actually where I got the apophyllite from. He's where I got this Morganite from. I just call this stone Morganite. Morgan Freeman, the Star Garnet, Vampire Eye, but it's really Red Tiger's Eye or Ox Eye. I call it Vampire's Eye because it's better that way. Sounds better. Blue Topaz, which is like literally, am I holding water? Feels like water, but it's a stone. Little ruby. Hot. Little Persite. This little flirty, feisty little thing. Tuck to pipe. The Blue Sapphire is another one. There's one more in particular that I am looking for. This and this little pendant vial that has phenakite in there. Phenakite, also known as, well, actually, it's the translation from the Greek word the deceiver. Where they can, so does that stone deceive you? Adam Barrett, Adambelett. There's two T's. I had to double check if I'm remembering correctly. If not, he can drop an anvil on the head. But yeah, Phenakite's another one that I got from him. That little vial. And he's also where I got good old little Alfredo from. This this literal gem that literally, if someone tries to take it from me, I would literally bite their nose off until I get it back in my hands. Like, you're not taking my Alfredo, even though I already have, even though I already have another honker piece of kunzai right here. Believe it or not, same stone, but the energy for both of them is completely different. Same stone. This one's a little bit more flirty and a little bit more like, oh, you know what I'm thinking, the nasty. This one's more of a more higher loving. This one's kind of like a, oh, you're gonna be for the rest of my life, like that deep connection, the deep kind. You nasty. That makes sense. Literally. I'll just make sure that really nobody's gonna take it from me. There. I licked it, therefore it's mine. You're not gonna take it now. Mm-mm. I licked it. DNA's on it. You're not gonna get it. Nope. Come any closer, I'm gonna stab your hand. Don't make me do it. No, I'm not like that anyway. But you really want to know what I'm protective of? Like literally, my hell doll that was made from Apollo. I can't remember like what his business name is, but yeah, I've had that hell doll since 2018. Literally, if somebody even walks towards that doll, I get like on edge. Like if you get any closer to that doll, you might have a knife in your neck in the next 2 seconds. So scoochie backwards. It's scoochie tushy backwards. Yeah, that protected with that little doll. Oy. So I'm gonna set up this little thing. Oh, well, that's okay. I was just looking at it like, oh, that's not even straight. But what am I to say what's straight and what isn't? I mean, what do I know? I didn't do it. Like I said, what do I know? I'm just as crooked as that candle that's trying to impersonate the Leaning Tower of Pisa or whatever the heck it's called. Yeah, that that one. It's kind of odd, like how, yeah, some people are like, is it pizza or pizza? Pizza, not pizza. That's like a kid's joke, like, oh, it's the Leaning Tower of Pizza. But there's a tower made of pizza? No. Why is it leaning over? Well, that kind of, there is a lesson to let you kids know that, sometimes in life, things just will never be straight. Mm-hmm. That's why sometimes you guys love how things are pronounced. It kind of sounds like the same thing. like there, and there, and also weather. It's that thing is bright and it's flickering a lot. Oh, just wow! It just popped, hissed. So I'm like, okay, we have a critical hit. I share it, but I would share it, but I don't want someone to think, oh, good, now's my chance to completely mitigate it. And that's actually something that I usually tell people that do have the idea and thought of actually doing a magical ritual, like on a live stream and like in real time. Sometimes you gotta really think before you actually do a magical ritual, because if somebody is able to focus really well and they're viewing your stream, they can completely hijack your work and completely mitigate it. Like how it starts red and then it turns white. That kind of shows you can see somebody who is going from a lustful state to a state that's more innocent and pure, like transformation. And that flame is like moving its hips like if it's a snake. That's a good sign. Yeah, I know you're here. Tell him, I know you're here. I'm not that new here with you, honey. Rude. Yeah, I know you wouldn't be doing that if you didn't like me. Why would you want to do that on a live stream, dude? Yeah, to you and Dan, it might be entertaining, but for me, it's like, okay, well, that just happened on live video. Let's not do that. Uh, no, I have nothing to say. The little hand diffuser, funny enough, I got a Hobby Lobby. Anyway, if you're wondering what just happened, well, again, if you're new here, let's just say when you open your third eye and your your intuitive side, and you exercise it with a lot of practice, you you detect stuff a bit too much. And to make it even more better, you can't turn it off. So keep that in mind when someone says, "Oh, come on, man, just open your third eye. It isn't that bad." Really think long and hard. Not like that before you do it, because once, and this is so bad, once you're in, you can't come out. Vulgar. Uh-uh. Don't be trying to sneak up behind me. That wasn't slick. Besides, I don't know you like that in order for you to even think you can get behind me like that. Yes, I just told an entity indirectly, like, no, 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 no. You're not privileged enough to be behind me like that. Rip. And don't look at me. I wasn't the one just trying to be like a sneaky surprise at the moment. No, not privileged enough to do that. I was going to say, are you supposed to be like Zeus? Please no. He who sticks most. What? It's funny, okay? I'm actually going to use my first row deck. I haven't that I've had since forever ago. I remember the day I bought this from a store called Hastings. If you happen to know what Hastings was when it was, you know, still existing before it went bankrupt. Yeah, Hastings. At least where I live, back in my day, everybody used to go to Hastings on Friday night and play their children's card games like Magic and well, not really. Well, Magic's not really a children's card game. Stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and all that. But literally, there was no two real people there. Easy cupcake. Don't have to be like moving your flaming hips like you don't give a. Your hips need to chill. Your hips need to chill. Because too much moving. Let's see. Standing as of now. Two twigs. Well, per cut. So bad, but I'm gonna go with it. So we are currently in the current standing stuck between two long sticks, and we have a nice grip on both of them. Like, okay, which stick do I take? Technical, there's three. So vulgar, kid. I know. Caught between two long, pointy, blunt twigs. Why? I don't know. Immediate two potential outcomes of success and critical fail. Like, nope. Yeah. Did not go, it's not going to be as intended. as intended. Oh boy. If it goes as planned, Hong Kong Fooey the chariot. Keep it simple. If it goes not as planned, will be the next thing that'll come from it. Stop it. He who has been forever alone in the 90-year virgin, the hermit. Oh, gee, that's a bit blunt. Well, that's nice to know, this doesn't work out. I'm maybe get old geezer with being forever alone. Gee, thanks. Rude. Three cards to show the events that are being coming afterwards. After, if it's successful, after the Hong Kong Fooey happens, going face first with it. Six of Cups, which is nostalgic memories of the past coming through. Are you for real? F this deck. My card. And the world. So we have nostalgic restoration yielding to highest state, and then it ends for good. So that way something new can begin. So then what is this new thing that comes about? She who is not having it, Queen of Swords. So, go Hong Kong Fooey towards something that was a past nostalgic, emotional bond, being to my best self, and then finally putting an end to this so that way the Queen of Sass can come through as she's supposed to. So we have double wet and windy. We have a lot of wetness and a lot of wind, slightly blowing up, whatever. So anyway, three cards supporting the Forever Alone side. That critical fail. So I'm not even ready for this. Number one, Six of Wands. So apparently there's going to be a victory for Yay. He's finally focusing on himself to the point where he's just celibate. Celebration of celebrate. Yeah. Or even better yet. Celebrating because he's compromising with two other people or somebody else. No. I don't like where that's going. I really don't like where that's going. I hope not. Because if it is, that's just that'd be a big pile of nope to me. No. Let go. No, I don't want you. I want you. And the boom. So, if it critically fails, forever alone, and kind of distraught emotionally, and kind of detached and like meh with the physical world. And I'd be seeing that as an opportunity to be in a state of victory and actually compromising with all three aspects of myself: physical, mental, and emotional. What is something else I'm not aware of that I need to know about this big hot mess? Don't do that. don't, break my ankle. Yeah, don't break my ankle just shuffling. Don't break my wrist. Something I need to be aware of that I may be missing. But definitely not, dark magician, which is not really a dark magician. It's more like definitely not, you know, watch me. I can do magic and stuff. Magician, give me two more things to clarify the magician. Somehow, apparently, I'm not aware that apparently I have all the tools at my disposal. So I just gotta know how to, stick them together. No, not stick them together. Put them together. Magician with a clarification with Chris Farley, the devil. Probably they're gonna be like, why are you calling Chris Farley the devil? Does anybody happen to know his life motto? Live life, live it hard. Same thing with the devil. He wants you to live life hard, but don't be stupid. Because sometimes you even have to be the devil's advocate. Sometimes, like, you should probably do something that isn't stupid, and maybe you can have fun tomorrow if you just decide to take a moment to give yourself give yourself a day to rest and ruin the party supposedly. Really? How? Okay. Something I'm not aware of is the magician. And clarify the magician, we have Chris Farley with the lovers, which is odd because having a choice between two, so the magician has to make a choice between something pure or something living really hard. Now I have to clarify option one or option two. Boy, option one. She who okay, I have to go with it this way. She who loves to talk about that big stick. Very enthused and very woo. I speak enthused and I carry a big beating stick. Whatever you say, Your Majesty. Whatever you say. Just don't hit me in the head and don't poke me in the tush with it. And the other one, wakey wakey, time to get tested. Time to see if you learned your lesson. Wakey wakey, kids. And good job, Gabriel. You're actually blowing it the right way instead of shoving it up your nose and going, mm. Judgment, why? Oh, seeing through your perspective that I thought I'd, kick the bucket. And why in the heck the Queen of Wands then for that? Oh, it's the he who fought. That's not really much of a thing to make me, go with a Queen of Wands. The zest of the party who said, notice me. Guru, please no. I don't want to. No. Yeah, that'll probably lead me to doing that. Walk away and, well, because of that conflict of nobody winning. But somehow that connection will still stand for the test of time. Anyway, I'm going to go to sleep because I have work in about 12 hours and I'm going to get some definitely, totally not beauty sleep. So then I'll see you guys tomorrow. I will be doing Aquarius and Pisces tomorrow. There, so be prepared for that. And then I think I'm also going to be starting to do analysis of certain plants and herbs and all that. But again, down below there should be that link in bio website thing that's in the description box. You just simply click on that if you want to see the other things that is so nicely attached to me, not like that. And also a way to get into direct contact with me via Messenger and talk about anything, or if you actually want to have a one-on-one with me, we'll talk about it and go from there. But anyway, I'll see y'all tomorrow when I do Aquarius and Pisces read.